The ceremony of blessings. When children in this world turn 16, they are bestowed with powers and abilities from various animal gods. Sophia Reeler was called to step forward, and she nervously approached as the students watched. She knew if you received a blessing from a bird god, you'd receive wings that let you fly freely through the air. A blessing from the fish god, your body would be able to swim freely through water. The headmaster called upon the blessings and told Sophia to choose her card. But picking was a struggle for her. If she picked peacock or chameleon, that'd 100% guarantee her into the beauty industry. A tanuki or fox would get her scouted into an acting troupe, and she didn't want to deal with that. She'd like to possibly draw the mole god. That would let her see in the dark. Any blessing that wouldn't make her stand out would do. Opening her eyes, she spotted a gorilla, much to her surprise. Carissa approached her the next day, curious about what god she chose, teasing that a bird type certainly wouldn't do, given Sophia's lacking athletic skills. Hearing girls clamor over Sir Scarl's arrival though, Carissa and her peons began to gush. They completely left Sophia alone, which, lucky for her, finally gave her the chance to eat in peace. Deerentown, the royal school that the children of nobles and distinguished families attend. A prestigious school where they taught leadership and strive to refine their students' dignity and intelligence. But in actuality, the boys try to make connections for after they graduate, and the girls try their best to find someone of higher rank to marry. Though it's unwritten, there's a very clear hierarchy that's determined by your family's social standing. Sophia was born into a count's family, but their land was remote. She sighed, wishing she could graduate already, but she still had 2 more years. Picking out her apple, she accidentally crushed it again? She didn't know how to control her own strength. It's been like this since yesterday. She's developed insane strength since receiving the gorilla god's blessing. She tried asking the headmaster, and he was astonished since her card was quite rare. She was the first he had ever seen to receive the gorilla's blessing. The blessing was so rare that it may or may not appear once every 50 years. The blessing itself was one of the most powerful combat class blessings. A gorilla's physical strength is 7 times greater than a human's, and their grip strength is 10 times greater, going beyond 500 kilograms. This was the last thing Sophia wanted. Disregarding her anguish, he let her know he wanted to discuss something with her in his office tomorrow after school. A squirrel then came to her side, so she offered it her bread, and left back with lunch break over. More surprises. The headmaster let her know she'd been scouted by the Royal Knights. She wouldn't be joining immediately, rather she'd have to take an exam first. Passing would allow her to start gaining experience as a junior knight. After that, passing her certification exam, she'd officially become a knight and she cut the headmaster off, asking why her? And he laughed, responding it was her blessing, of course. Having unparalleled combat power, the school was required to report her existence to the royal palace. Apparently, the ones who were gorilla blessed in the past also belonged to the knights. Sophia wanted to wake up from this nightmare. Being a royal knight was certainly a distinguished occupation, but she'd never heard of a female knight, and she was a non-combatant that just became a gorilla yesterday. But if she refused, her parents might get criticized, and if they determined she disobeyed an order from the nation, she might be locked up or banished. She agreed to take the exam, only asking her blessing and this test be kept a secret. He was fine with that, adding it was probably for the best, given the anti-monarchy faction has been quite extreme as of late. He was still cheering her on to do her best though. Sophia went back to pick up her handkerchief. She was sad, knowing if she joined the Knights, she could definitely kiss any chance at a peaceful life goodbye. Wait, all she needed to do was make sure she didn't pass. Even being a gorilla, if they realized she wasn't suited to becoming a knight, there's no way they'd welcome someone like that into such an integral part of this country. It's the day of the junior knight exams. Sophia stumbled upon a distressed merchant whose cart wheel broke off. He didn't have the tools to fix it, and he was trying to figure out how he could transport his cargo. Sophia considered using her powers, but struggled, knowing rumors might spread if she did. She finally convinced herself to do the right thing, picking up all the barrels for the man. But by the time she'd finished delivering, she was in the next town over and had no idea where to go. A handsome man with green eyes suddenly appeared, asking if he could help her in some way. Sophia was immediately stuck on his beauty. She frantically admitted she was lost and needed to head to the Royal Knights training grounds. So he pointed her in the right direction, and as she was hurrying off, he stopped her, wiping a little dirt she had on her face with his handkerchief. and giving their goodbyes, she was alerted by his phrase, "See you later," wondering what he meant by that. Being the only girl at the exam, she quickly wanted to go home. She wanted to get this over with already. She was surprised to see the man she met earlier was here and administering their exams. He was in fact Luis Scarl, the youngest ever knight candidate. The first test was a sprint, where Isaac Shihan was confident in displaying his speed. Sophia could see his impressive legs. He cleared in 9.9 seconds, and now Sophia was sure she wouldn't pass against someone as talented as him. When her turn came, the boys laughed at her awkward stance. However, the gorilla inside began to spark. She wasn't prepared for her pacing and accidentally crashed through the wall. She noted the light feel she had when she ran, as if she could run forever. Well, gorillas can run 40 kilometers per hour. The next test was rappelling. Sophia was scared to climb down a rope, and reaching the top, many of the examinees were scared as well. However, Eddie Fellis began, dropping down with no issue and backflipping off of the building. Sophia was amazed by his skill, and then noticed Isaac cowering in the corner. He absolutely couldn't deal with high places, so she offered to go right before him. That way, she could catch him if he fell. This caused him to acknowledge his patheticness, making a girl feel sorry for him. He called her name Lovely, and asked her to climb down with him, and even on the way down, he was frightened but doing his best. A strong wind blew, causing Isaac's rope to break, but Sophia saved him with her gorilla strength. He wasn't heavy for her at all. Her rope then came undone, and her instincts activated, holding on to Isaac as they came down. He was sobbing and thankful. Before beginning their next test, Luis told Sophia to come with him to the infirmary. Sophia couldn't tell, but her hands were completely roughed up. As he treated her, she kept fixating on his beautiful features. His long lashes and defined nose. She thought he almost looked like he belonged in a museum. He caught her in a daze, making him laugh, but now he was fixated on holding her hand. He caught himself in a moment and pulled away. Seeing him blush, she didn't know he could look like this. Luis admitted to his curiosity, citing she managed to hold Isaac with that hand and come down. Judging by the results of the agility test, he at first assumed her talent was in her legs. He wanted to know more, but she couldn't just tell him she was chosen by the blessing from the gorilla god. Heading back, they came upon the test takers sparring, and nearly getting hit. Sophia was glad she went to the infirmary, but now realizing she might fail because she missed this portion, she was glowing. She felt a little sad that she might not get to see Luis again, but reminded herself the two of them lived in completely different worlds. With the exam coming to a close, Luis thanked her for saving a life today. Isaac sprinted over, checking on her, and the two received praise from Luis. Walking back together, Isaac rambled on about how Luis had become a knight at the age of 15, before even receiving his blessing. Luis was the heir to a prominent family that's produced many knight squad captains, and he in particular had already mastered the sword. Yet, he's never acted cocky. Isaac looked up to him so much. Sophia felt a little envious that Isaac had a goal to strive for like this. She felt like someone like him should have gotten her powers. They then spotted Eddie getting chastised by some other boys, saying they heard he was the child of a mistress, and that he shouldn't have been let into the exams. Sophia and Isaac tried to intervene, but the boys pushed back, replying they had business with the little rich boy from the Fellis family. Sophia tried to make up an excuse to get Eddie out, using they had promised to walk home together with Eddie. But the boys just laughed, and one of them tried to punch Sophia, but got blocked by Isaac. Of course, trying to punch a girl would be a disgrace to the knights. Everyone was then surprised to see Eddie had knocked the wind out of one of the other fodder bullies. A fight was about to ensue, until one of them grabbed onto Sophia, and her just pulling back sent him crashing into a tree. Walking back as a trio, Isaac sang Sophia's praises, even though she felt bad that the other boys had run off calling her a freak. Isaac wondered if she was like some shinobi from the Far East, but Eddie quickly called out that she was blessed by the gorilla god. He cited her strength that had carried a grown man, and her strange running style that beat Isaac, who was the fastest guy in the country. And that was before Isaac received his dog blessing, which only made him even faster. Eddie wished he had gotten her blessing, now describing a gorilla's feats like this was National Geographic. The basic things that had already been mentioned. A gorilla's leg strength allowed them to run up to 40 kilometers per hour. They had 7 times the strength of a human, and their grip strength was said to be over 500 kilograms. The gorilla god was one out of 2 ultimate combat class blessings that existed. But he didn't know why Sophia was so timid. He thought she should at least brag a little. Regardless, he was thankful for her saving him back there. The boys then reintroduced themselves. But 16-year-old Eddie, the same age as the other two, would not comment on his blessing. Depending on the blessing, having others find out about them could become a weakness. Either way, Isaac was cheerful, raising the other two's hands in hopes they'd all pass. But on the inside, Sophia was a little somber once again, knowing she wouldn't see them unless you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Because here at My Shoujo Weekly, I'm covering all the wonderful shoujo stories no one is talking about. You'll find romance, you'll find action, you'll find hot guys. So come on, I got it all, that's no lie, please hit that subscribe. She passed. Is even a single person shocked to find this out? Despite missing one portion of the exam, she still had performed feats that reflected well on her. She was tearful, but her training as a junior knight was to take place after school. Later in class, the girls were squealing over the new transfer students, Isaac and Eddie. Sophia hid her head, heart beating fast, wondering what those two were doing at her school. But Isaac quickly embarrassed her by pointing her out, earning her the ire of her other female classmates. Goodbye to her peaceful school life. She had to tell the boys later she wanted her being in the Knights and what her blessing was to remain secret. Isaac wondered why, and with her seeing just how popular the two were with girls, she really couldn't afford any more hate. They agreed with her request, but walking together, they spotted the biggest crowd of girls squealing over Luis. He was happy to see the three of them, but Sophia wasn't so happy feeling the hatred coming from all the other girls. She asked him what he was doing here, and he explained that while his priority was his knight duties, technically, at age 18, he was her senior in more than one way. He began to congratulate the three of them on passing their junior knight exams, but she shoved his mouth, pressing him inside the hall. Taking her hands off, she apologized for her rudeness. She had no idea he had been going to the same school as her the entire time. In class, she was swarmed by even more people than usual. Carissa wanted to know what her relationship was with Luis, and Sophia tried to explain they had just met once. But Carissa wasn't buying it. At this rate, lunch was going to end without Sophia being able to eat. She then pulled the ultimate pro-gamer tactic, pointing and saying, "Look, Luis is over there!" And all the girls bought it, giving her time to get away. She finally got reprieve in the cafeteria, but not for long, because Isaac and Eddie wanted to eat with her. They also had a hard time trying to eat, getting stopped by girls every few minutes. Eddie was annoyed, wondering if people at the school had nothing better to do. Every break, someone was asking him where he came from or what his hobbies were. All Sophia could respond with was a nervous laugh, feeling envious female eyes stabbing at her. Then, deja vu. The girls were screaming at Luis's arrival. He sat with them, bringing up their induction ceremony tomorrow, while Sophia scarfed down her food, trying to get out of here. If she stayed longer, she didn't want to know what those girls would say to her, but at the same time, it felt sorta like a waste to leave. Luis then approached her, asking for a moment. He gave her a baggie with a muffin, thinking what she ate might not have been enough, and told her not to tell Isaac or Eddie, since he didn't get any for them. Leaving soon after though, the looming presence of jealous women quickly arose. They wanted explanations from Sophia. Alright, not a bad start to the series, although the gorilla powers are kinda goofy. Subscribe to keep up with future parts, but for now, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.